2001, the Packard Foundation offered the County of Santa Cruz an opportunity for some funding to look at ways in which the arts and economic development and jobs were created. At the time that they approached the county, some representatives from the county through Lance Linares at the Community Foundation, I didn't see any real opportunities in the city of Santa Cruz. However, in the late summer of 2001, the Ceil's Tannery closed, and it looked like a ripe opportunity to look at how the 8-acre site might be able to be used for creating jobs and bringing the arts community, the whole arts community, together on one site.
Oh, there were a number of threads. The first was, oh, that's a really toxic site. So it was a problematical site. And another factor was, of course, that it was a historic site recognized by any measure as a really significant historic site here in the city of Santa Cruz. One that had been very important economically, but time had passed it by. And the other was certainly a growing realization throughout the community that the arts were and are an important part of our economic base. They're part of our character. And so bringing these things together, it was a great opportunity site, but it needed an external force. It wasn't going to happen in the private sector. So it was really an opportunity for the city with the redevelopment agency to take a leading role.
Artspace is a national nonprofit real estate developer for the arts, and we do a lot of work around the country in creating affordable space for artists and arts organizations. And we are known as being builders, and then also that we oversee the buildings often once they're done by hiring the local property management companies. And the vision in Santa Cruz was a big step forward for Artspace as well. We had already, at that time, I think, completed about 11 or 12 buildings around the United States that we did own and operate. They were all running in the black. They were good contributors to job creation in the community. And when I first met Ceil and Harvey way in those beautiful earlier days, I just thought this is a tremendous possibility for Artspace to grow as well. And it's certainly has proven to be just a great step forward, I think, for everyone. When I think of what some of the challenges were right away, it really was the environmental issue that I saw as the initial big challenge. As Ceil and I first walked through the site here, we were both kind of looking down at the ground and looking at the buildings and just going, there's going to be a big cleanup here, and that's right, and that's good for the community too. To bring something that was not usable at that point back into such a high use as it is right now.
Ceil Cirillo came to me and immediately looked around and said, the way we give credibility to the arts is get somebody who's not involved in the arts. The thing that really piqued my curiosity was an opportunity to do a public-private partnership and develop a particular entity for economic development, because my whole focus all the time was provide economic development for the community, and I looked at this as an opportunity. The project evolved through so many iterations over the period of time that I mean, it took us, I think, 6 years to get our nonprofit status. It was a tremendous effort by so many different people, and we're coming to the conclusion. I just mentioned before to other people, this was going to be a project for future generations. And look, we're in a future generation already. This thing has been going on for 11 years, and it's going to continue to go on into the future, and it's going to be a wonderful resource for all of Santa Cruz County and people from outside, for visitors.
With respect to the site and its contamination, the property owner did continue to assume the responsibility for the cleanup, although there were some concerns about how to pay for it, how to get through the regulatory process as just lay people here in the community. So we work closely with the CEO, president of Ceil's Tannery at that time. The acquisition agreement we negotiated allowed us to advance them the dollars to do the cleanup, and we pretty much walked with them as they went through the regulatory process. And being on the public side, we were able to get the attention probably more quickly than their ability to have done it on their own. We used Redevelopment Palanco Act in order to get it through a process where we could take control. And we were able to accelerate the process by partnering with them through the cleanup process and advancing the dollars. But we were sure that our dollars were being used appropriately for all of that cleanup, and it ended up being very successful. It's a cleaned up site that allows residential and commercial on it, and that is a major task to do, to get that kind of a sign off from the state environmental agencies.
You know, we were working closely with Artspace at that time and really planning for the event because we'd had so much interest from the community for the opening of the lottery. So we had a number of just planning meetings. We had requests for being able to camp out in advance. So we knew that it was going to be a big event. And in fact, it really embodies sort of the whole spirit of what the Tannery Arts Center campus has become. People camped out, there was music, there was a performance. I mean, it really became an event, and it was just sort of the beginning of, this is what it's all about, this is what it will become. And so, I mean, it was a really exciting event. You know, it turned out very peacefully despite the hundreds of people that waited in line for the lottery. And to this day, we still have several hundred people that are on a waiting list, patiently waiting for an opportunity to live in the lofts. So, all in all, I would say it was very successful.
This is such an impressive project, and especially when you look at the vision that Ceil had when she was presented this opportunity, and the city for having the foresight to see that this was an important component of the city to redevelop. It's impressive in that it's historical from an agricultural perspective. It was important to the cattle industry that was a viable industry in this area. And for the city to put the commitment behind it and support the artists that are important to our community is greatly appreciated. And it's appreciated from the entire county, not just from the city of Santa Cruz. We brought 100 people here a few weeks ago that are primarily involved in agriculture in the Pajaro Valley. They were so impressed. More than half of them filled out cards saying they wanted to know more about what's going on at the Tannery Arts Center. So it's nice to see it finally have so much going on here with the working studios and the studios for the artists to live in. And as Harvey had mentioned, we're on that third phase. We have just broken a $3 million mark to complete the theater, but we need $5 million total. So we have opportunities for many more people to be involved in this project. And we're hoping that people will step up and see that having that performing arts theater here will really round out this special place.